Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam keluarga Malaysia. Yang berhormat Datuk Sri Hajah Nancy Shukri, Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Yang berhormat Muhammad Saha Abdullah, Deputy Minister of Finance. Yang berbahagia Datuk Sri Haji Muhammad Mentek, Secretary General Ministry of Communications and Multimedia. Honourable Bapak Ridwan Kamil, Governor of West Java. Nur Azmi Mat Said, Chairman My Creative Ventures. Junadi Nawawi, Group CEO, My Creative Ventures. Izan Satrina, CEO Cendana. Ed Veze, former UK Minister of Technology, Communications and Culture. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are able to gather here today for the Kuala Lumpur Creative Economy Forum 2021. Congratulations to the organizers, the Cultural Economy Development Agency, Cendana, and the Perdana Fellows Alumni Association for organizing this forum. Creative economy has begun to gain mainstream popularity within the last decades or so. And with technology and the digital economy, from Squid Game to BTS, and many more cultural and creative icons have reached our shores and into our hearts. With 2021 being the year of the International Creative Economy Year for Sustainable Development, there is much to harness from our cultural and creative stories and assets. In Malaysia, there is still tremendous room for the creative industry to grow. In 2019, the year before the pandemic, our creative industry's contribution towards national GDP stood at 1.9%. Our neighboring countries have their creative industries contribute anywhere between 5% to 7% of GDP. So, we certainly have much to do to further grow Malaysia's creative industry. We already have close to 900,000 Malaysians employed in the creative economy, and that is a big number indeed. More can be done, and I believe more should be done. To highlight the government's commitment towards the creative economy, the recently announced 12 Malaysia Plan has identified it as a high-impact industry for economic growth. As a whole, the RMK12 aims to boost the creative sector's contribution to national GDP by almost 20% over the next 5 years, from Ringgit Malaysia 26.8 billion in 2020 to RM 31.9 billion by 2025. There is a huge role for the government to play in facilitating this growth. It doesn't only require policymakers of the country, but also corporations and the content creators who play an important role in developing the country's creative economy, especially in post-COVID-19. Like every other industry around the globe, the creative industry has been in dire state due to the pandemic. The Malaysian government recognizes this industry and has channeled funds to support and assist the industry practitioners and businesses to survive the pandemic. In my own capacity as well as Minister of Communications and Multimedia, I have assisted to convince the National Security Council to open the creative industry, allowing for practitioners to go back to work. This has certainly been the start of many more positive things to come. To accelerate the development of the creative industry, we must first maximize the potential of creative industry. We can do this by leveraging on Malaysian creativity and digital technology while preserving invaluable national culture, arts and heritage. We will be developing a conducive ecosystem for the creative landscape, upscaling our talent to match the needs of the industry, as well as strengthening our product development and promotion initiatives. These growth enablers will increase revenue and job opportunities, as well as bolster local distinctive cultural identities, paving the way for Malaysia to become a renowned exporter and leader of the creative fields. Personally, in my purview as Minister of Communication and Multimedia, I hope to see the industry strengthen through a strategic plan, a coordinated effort across the public and private sectors, a database approach in scaling up the sectors, and patience capital to grow this creative economy of Malaysia. This must be done immediately via the Ministry of Communications and Multimedia and its agencies, including Cendana and my creative ventures. I hope to also see more strategic programs that help build on successful precedences of local talent, such as some of our favorites, Upin and Ipin, Agent Ali, and Didi and Friends, and award winners Alina Muran and Red Hong Yi, who have made a mark that have managed to penetrate not only the local, but also the global markets. It is time now, more than ever, to spur the growth of the industry and require an out-of-the-box approach or approaches we can borrow from others who have done very well. We can localize these approaches here at home to create a conducive ecosystem to ensure the industry becomes an engine of social inclusivity, happy moments, creation of jobs, and potentially economic gains for the nation. Malaysia is, after all, so rich with history, stories, and our arts and culture. This important shift to what we want Malaysia to be really depends on how we position it for a collective impact for all. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are certainly excited about today's Kuala Lumpur Creative Economy Forum and hope to hear more from our international and regional speakers and our corporate chieftains in Malaysia too. We must step into this high potential growth area. We cannot do it alone. The days of government-led top-down initiative are over. What we need now are sustainable, creative approaches and innovative solutions to make our joint vision and plan a success. As we enter the new normal, we invite you to work alongside us through the Creative Task Force to form a systematic structure that will allow the country's creative industry to really flourish. Can this structure be the structure we need whereby we consolidate all our cultural and creative assets together for a collective impact? How can we leverage the continued momentum of digital economy for our creative content to be beyond Malaysia and for global audiences? Like any other global cities, there is no detachment from the city and its arts and creative workers and stories. It is, after all, the fuel of the city that creates this vibrancy, which remains an integral part of the nation's soul. Join us in elevating the entire industry. Let's not be content with merely a new normal, but strive towards a bigger, better normal that's inclusive for all creatives. As we gather here today, life is finally returning to our cities and public realms. Just last month, in view of the reopening of the creative industries, we are now in the third phase of the National Recovery Plan. This is important, especially after more than 12 months being closed. I launched Cendana's Art in the City program in Kuala Lumpur that will run from this month to December. It is important as art in the city, as many other arts and creative events will help activate the sector and contribute to nation's recovery. Dedicated to arts and performances, this year's iteration of Art in the City will feature more than 100 dynamic, colorful, and optimistic programs. This is among the plans and activities that we have in store for Kuala Lumpur as the nation's creative economic hub. I hope that the other cities in Malaysia can emulate this by leveraging on their unique regional and cultural offerings. With this, it is our hope that the cities across the nation that were forced to empty following the outbreak of COVID-19 more than a year ago will bounce back to life. Our focus must not be just about the ringgit and cents. Rather, arts and culture can serve as a unifying tool for our multiracial, multicultural, multi-religious society and help heal the soul of our nation, our keluarga Malaysia. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before I end my remarks today, I want you, the creatives who have worked so tirelessly over the past years and a half, to know this. During the repetitious bleak days of lockdown, many of us, including myself, turned to your content for entertainment and comfort. While we were forced to be distant from family and friends, we turned to your endearing television programs, musics, and digital arts events for solace. Thank you for carrying the nation through those dark periods and for making it so much more bearable. To corporations, please join us in making this shift. How can we facilitate your participation aggressively, side by side with us and the industry? Talk to us. Let us make this work. As a Malaysian, I'm proud that we are blessed with such an abundance of talented creatives, and I look forward to wholeheartedly supporting the industry moving forward. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.